Well, I started the recording over. I don't know if it's my vision or if it's the camera, but every time I turn my camera sideways, the focus is unclear, and I don't know why it's doing that. It's never done that before, so I apologize for that. But good morning, and it's Monday, 6:19 a.m. Trying to think of a devotional to bring to you, and it's got to be the camera focus. My goodness. I guess we're just going to have to suffer with it this morning because I can't fix it. I don't know why it's doing that. Over the weekend, we had Brother Hector talk about really man, his role in the household as the leader, his position in this place, in this body, in the world. And we've had a lot of talk over the weekend about raising up our children to be leaders, respecters of Yahweh's instructions and our purpose, and I wholeheartedly agree with all of that. I don't know what to do for a morning devotional this morning, so usually, when in doubt, read the Word. And I'm just going to pick from the New Testament, and I'm going to go at James chapter 4. No reason why. I'm just going to scroll through here and see if that's what I want to do. Let's go to James chapter 2. How about chapter 3? How about Peter? I don't know where to go. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1. No, that's not what I want either. Alright, I don't know what I want to read from, so we're just going to go to, goodness. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 1. And we're just going to start here because I'm tired of bouncing around and saying different scripture names. At verse 4, "For indeed we did inform you beforehand when we were with you that we would suffer pressure, and so it came to be as you know. Because of this, when I could no longer stand it," as a reminder, we're at 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 5, "I sent to find out about your belief, lest the trying one might have tried you, and your labor should be in vain. But now that Timothy has come to us from you, and having brought us good news of your belief and love, and that you always have good remembrance of us, longing to see us, as we also to see you. Therefore, brothers, in all our pressure and distress, we were encouraged concerning you by your belief. Because we now live, if you stand fast in the Master, for what thanks are we able to return to Elohim for you, for all the joy with which we rejoice for your sake in the presence of our Elohim, night and day, praying exceedingly to see your face and make complete what is lacking in your belief. And our Elohim and Father himself and our Master Yahshua Messiah direct our way to you, and the Master make you increase and overflow in love to each other and to all, as we also do to you, to establish your hearts blameless in set apartness before our Elohim and Father at the coming of our Master Yahshua with all his set apart ones." I want to just touch base quickly here on our duty as fathers, or maybe you're not a father. Daniel Wilson, sorry to call your name out, but I really do appreciate it, because I don't know who all these videos go out to. I don't know who all sees them, and I just want to thank you for coming up to me and encourage me and telling me thank you for the videos I put out there. And you young men, I'm a young man as well, but I've got a family and stuff, but you younger men, you guys inspire me, and you brighten my days, and you also as Hector says, that we are up against a great opportunity with the culture that we face today. It is of utmost importance that we educate our young people to see the dangers that we face in our society, of what comes in upon our TV, our social media devices, and mainly, I guess, our influence of what comes into our CPU here, our mind. And I say CPU because whatever we program ourselves with out of our heart here is what will come out of our mouth, from the abundance of the heart, so the mouth speaks. And as a man thinketh, so is he. And on those two comments, what are we allowing to influence us? Because it is through that direction of what we do is what will influence our inner circle, and which will kind of outpour onto our outer circle, that law of influence there. And so I want to ask you guys, what are you doing to influence you? Who are you allowing to influence you? What are you allowing to influence you? Because you should be the greatest influence in your child's life or your friend's life. And you should be looking at yourself. Am I a leader or am I a follower? I tell my son all the time, hey, remember who you are in here and what you believe and what you stand for. Because that will draw the line in the sand for when other people, no matter what their belief is, when they try to get you to do things, you know for certain that you can stand there and say, no, that's I don't stand for that. And I don't appreciate you guys for standing for that or wanting to believe in that, laugh at that, mock that, and I'm not going to partake in that, because that right there, my friends, is sin, or that's just immoral, or that's not of Yahweh. That's not of my belief system. That's not how I walk out my faith, and that's not how I walk out my life. And I don't want others to see that I am a hypocrite, because here I am partaking in what y'all do, and it's of the world, and it might not even be harmless. Or I'm sorry, it might not even be harmful, but yet, according to the word, it could walk opposing. Man, I can't even talk this morning. According to the word, it could be contrary or in opposition to. And so we have to be careful of that. And so we always must think, what is it we're doing? Because people are always watching. And it's when people aren't watching that we can fall in trouble. And we have to remain true to ourselves through integrity of what our belief system is. So I want to encourage you, Paul, Brother Hector was saying, what is our purpose? What is our vision? What is your vision? What inspires and motivates you to get up each day? And for some people, it might be very plain and easy and simple, just to wake up and thank Yahweh, to put their 2 feet on the floor. For me, I'm real big into health. I'm a nutrition therapist, a holistic health coach, and a cellular detox practitioner, where I focus on people's health. I focus on helping people make better decisions of what they can do with their life to live a happier, longer, healthier life, And so my vision is, it kind of encompasses a holistic approach. And I know a lot of people, when they hear the word holistic, they can kind of think weird things. But really, it encompasses your spiritual walk, your physical well-being. So everything, your relationships, your emotional well-being, like everything that encapsulates you at its core is kind of what I focus on, getting people better. From my school, we have what's taught primary food and secondary food. Primary food is like everything outside of like what you would eat for food. It's like your social status, your career, your finances, your emotions, your spirituality, your relationships, your like everything outside of food. We call that our primary food, because that has an impact and effect on your very health just as much as food does. There's a great book by Dr. Dan Buettner, who was with National Geographic, and he went out to all these blue zones, and he interviewed centenarians and people who lived in their 90s and were like vibrant and healthy. And he wanted to know, hey, what are you doing? And we saw a couple of common themes with these people, and it was that they had a community, they had people, they had love, they had laughter, and almost despite, I wouldn't agree with some of the things they ate. Now, give or take, they're in a different region of the world. They have different cultural aspects of what they eat, and they might have some different, they might not have the access to fast foods as easily as we do. So they might be eating more whole and real foods. But anyway, what they did find in the study that was weird, or not weird, that was interesting, was isolation. People, whenever the community broke apart and families went their own separate ways and went this independent route, as our American dream teaches, be independent, not community-based, they found that the people went through I don't want to say if degradation is the right word, but they were on a social decline in their emotional health because of isolation, being alone and not part of the tribe, so to speak. And Hector was talking about it shouldn't be weird for our young people today to be sitting next to an old person or an elderly person, despite the age. It shouldn't be awkward to see a 12-year-old sitting next to a 40 or 50-year-old, or a 15 or 16-year-old sitting next to a 30 or 40-year-old, or a 20-year-old sitting next to a 60 or 70-year-old. You get my point. Really, just that big span of generation gap there. But because of our culture today, we've seen it weird, and because of the trust with people, and I get this, but within our congregation, our assemblies, with the true brethren, we shouldn't be so weird about our young children sitting next to older people. Now, I know like sexual predators and molestation, and there's that kind of weird aspect that has imprinted in our mind that we want to make that separation. But you see in the Latin cultures and other cultures and around the world, you still have almost an entire family living within a household. And when the mom and dad aren't there, you've got the uncles, you got the aunts, you got the cousins, you got the grandparents, and oftentimes the great-grandparents that still help build a community within that home and teach and raise up all the young people in their culture of belief. And here in America, we lack a big part of that. And there's an old African proverb that says, when an elder dies, a library is burnt to the ground. And Hector was talking about, we gain so much wisdom from our elderly people, but yet nobody really ever does that here in America. Nobody. And so our level of influence obviously should come from the Bible, but our influence should be also upon others, and we should have a core system of beliefs that we stand by and respect and honor the Torah, or the instructions of our Creator, that in such a manner we are able to impact others because they see us and they're like, all right, so this man is steadfast in his belief. This man is true to his roots, his belief system. He doesn't deviate from that no matter who he hangs out with. It's like he doesn't have an identity crisis. He knows who he is, and he stands firm in what he is. And we should be like that, And I feel a lot of times that we kind of just go with the flow, and peer pressure, we buckle down and crave to friends around us, and we fall into the trap of, well, they did it, so I did it, and we just don't, we lack a backbone of strength and integrity. And so I just want to encourage you younger men out there that we must stay true to who we are and not have an identity crisis. We must find out who we are through who the Scripture tells us we can be. And I want to finish by reading Psalms chapter 1, because I see a lot of mockery going on out there, even within our own brothers and sisters in the assemblies. Psalm 1 verse 1 says, "Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, and shall not stand in the path of sinners, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers," or mockers. So how oftentimes within the assemblies do we find ourselves making fun of other people because they pronounce the name of our Father differently, and we mock them, and we cast a judgment upon them because, oh, they're wrong, they say Yahuwah, or they say other pronunciations. They don't say Yahweh, or we do it with the pronunciation of Yeshua. Oh, why is he saying Yahusha? Yehoshua. That ain't how you pronounce it. It's Yeshua or Yahshua. You know what I mean? That's just a silly example, but I've seen it. I've seen people do that. Or we have these little small things where we cast judgments on people, and is that not sitting in a seat of scoffing, mocking? Guys, we shouldn't be doing that. We should be able to come together and learn as a whole and unify according to the Scriptures to be able to say, hey, look, man, you're my brother. We kind of differ upon this and that, but still love you, man. I respect you. And I'm not going to sit in the seat of a mocker and cast judgment upon you because you do something differently than I. Verse 2, but his delight is in the instruction of Yahweh, or the Torah of Yahweh, and he meditates in his Torah day and night. Meditate, I did a study a couple of months back on that word, and orientally it's where we get our word pond, like a body of water, from, because we're pondering. And oftentimes they would go to a body of water and reflect upon, and that's where we get the meditation aspect of. They would reflect upon their inner self or whatever. I don't want to get into weird, or cultures of meditation practices. But think of King David. Think of these other men who had the Torah. They were to meditate. They were to reflect upon his word day and night, and put your life in his word and see how it aligns, or where it's out of place, and how you could do some adjustment or correction. When you go see a chiropractor, when your body's out of line, you go get an adjustment, and oftentimes, if you've never had an alignment done, I haven't, but I've read a lot about it and have heard a lot of chiropractors talk about it. You get an adjustment, and it does a lot of unique, cool things to your nervous system. You could get an adjustment on your neck or your spine or your lower back, and certain pains go away. Well, when you adjust your life according to the scriptures, certain sins go away, because you see that, okay, that doesn't add up here, so I'm going to make an adjustment and walk this way, or a little bit more straighter on the path, and you'll see certain things transform in your life. And it's adjusting your life according to the way our Creator has said to live out. For you shall be as a tree planted by the rivers of water, and you will yield its fruit in its season. Your leaf will not wither, and whatever you do will prosper, because you're doing everything according to the word. Your life is prospering according to, kingdom rules, because you're doing things on behalf of the kingdom. It might not prosper here in this world, because this world is a wicked place. So we need to take our eyes and shift our mindset upon what Yahweh has set for us in this next life to come, because that's what we're building up our prosperity for, is to inherit life eternally. So the wrong are not so, but they are like chaff which the wind blows away. Therefore the wrong shall not rise in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wrong comes to nothing. So my friends, I hope this blesses you today and it encourages you. And I just thank you for all the younger men out there who are in the assemblies and have a level head on their shoulders. And I want to admonish your parents, because you guys have done an excellent job. And y'all encourage me to continue to do an excellent job for my children and my family as well. And I'm sorry for the focus on the camera this morning. I'll try to fix that for tomorrow. But you guys have a wonderful day, and help support me too out on my Grassroots Healing YouTube channel, where I try to educate people on health. That's my other passion, is helping people understand health. And just because a food product has the kosher stamp on it truly doesn't mean it's actually kosher. And think of Pringles. Pringles have a lot of other ingredients that are synthetically made by man through chemicals, and I don't believe Yahweh intended us to put that in our mouth, although I do like potato chips. But I don't eat Pringles. They can have a lot of bad trans fatty acids in there that create cellular inflammation. So if you wanted to learn more about what it is I teach and practice on the health realm, go visit me at Grassroots Healing. Man, I am trying to do my best over there as well. I've got so much going on. I work in this dump truck full time, so all my spare time, whenever I'm not with my family, I'm trying to put toward my health channel. So thank you guys for tuning in with me this morning. May Yahweh bless you and keep you, and we'll see you on the next one.
You are Israel, my firstborn son. You are Israel.